Hey guys, Jez here, back with another video. You read the title. This is the calm before the storm. We're about to create a next massive move. We're currently on support for Bitcoin right now, and we're trading within a weekend. So I had a lot of charts prepared for you guys. We're going to be reviewing charts that we talked about last video and be determining where we might actually go in towards next week. So before we get into the analysis, make sure to smack up that like button. Let's try get above 25 likes. That would be absolutely amazing. And with that being said, let's get straight away into towards this banger. Bow. As you can see by yesterday's video, it's Sunday right now and yesterday was Saturday. So the spot ETF inflows were not active at the minute. So you can see that ETFs are not present. There's not that much demand kicking in for Bitcoin or ETH. So essentially volumes are still low. It's going to start picking up within the next 24 to 48 hours. So we want to really see if we can actually hold the support and break this downsloping trend line, which will send us in towards that 100k mark. However, things are looking very, very interesting because we do have higher lows being created, although the actual macro trend is still creating lower highs. So if Bitcoin can actually start moving up before we actually get in towards that 92k mark, where I do expect us to actually break this support, then we can go higher. But if we start to continue to bleed in towards the end of this weekend, we may create a CME gap, which can be bullish, and we can look in towards a liquidity grab, and then we reclaim the support and actually go higher. But yes, we have to just look in towards this downsloping support line, and if we can actually break it, that would give us room to actually look at the 100k resistance, and from there we can look in towards new all-time highs. Yes, as you can see here, we started off the weekend and we started to move up and actually come away from our CME close price, and we just recently closed that gap. However, we're starting to move further down. So if we move down a bit more and create that liquidity grab below the support, then we can look in towards us actually oscillating back towards the CME close price and actually resuming the buying activity, and this will be a big deviation. So as you can see, we're currently at a decision point. We've been creating higher lows over here. However, we're at the trend line right now, a decision point where we might actually come a bit further down to create a proper triple bottom here, and then actually move a lot higher, and then we can look in towards this resistance line to see if we can break above it to actually go and test the all-time highs again. However, if we can't actually hold the support line and we actually retest it, and we can see that there's weakness within the candles, and judging by the previous move we actually came downwards, it's more likely that actually we may see some downside in towards that 88k to 86k pocket over there, so just below 90k, before we actually start to resume the buying activity. As you can see, we still have a bull moon present, so bulls still have an opportunity to push price a lot higher. We just need to start breaking trends and actually shifting this lower high structure over here into higher highs and start to reclaim key areas before we actually start moving higher. But as you can see in this chart over here, we had bearish divergence and we actually tested this trend line after breaking it, and that caused us to actually start moving downwards, and you can see price is actually starting to accelerate here. So we definitely need to hold the support line and actually chop around a bit more and maybe move slightly upwards to potentially confirm this as a massive bear trap, and for us to actually start reclaiming this significant resistance point over here before we actually start moving a lot higher. But again, things are not looking all the best for Bitcoin at the minute, so we need to be very, very cautious and be patient, because the measured move for this flag is actually the bottom side over here. So it's very likely that we can actually come and test this horizontal level over here before actually moving a lot higher, and that's around the 86k level. Yes guys, you can see on this chart over here, we do the LAR plans, two scenarios, and you can see that we're following the second one a bit better than the first one, where we had this falling wedge structure and we did break out as expected. However, we did estimate around this 100k 99k mark that we may see some sort of double top over there and then a reversal, which we exactly got, and we're currently on massive support. As you can see, we had previous resistance which further turned into support after some time, and this provided a lot of upwards buy pressure for Bitcoin. So we would definitely want to see that start to kick in now and actually confirm another level of support here. However, the more you test one level, it's kind of like a wall, the weaker it actually gets. So it's likely that if we can't hold this time, we're gonna just return to the next one, which isn't too far away, and then we can actually flush out all the weak hands, all the late longs, and start to resume the buying pressure upwards. So having a look into the 1 week liquidations, we can already see that the majority is actually above us, and we have short-term liquidity at 93.2, and we have a bit in towards 90k, 88k. So if we do start to flush down, that would just indicate a massive buying opportunity in my opinion, as the majority are short right now. So we can even see by the Bitcoin funding rate, this makes me extremely bullish. We're currently negative on Bybit, and in general, the funding rate is extremely low. So this just indicates that once we do grab the downside liquidity finally and start showing signs of strength, we can actually start moving a lot higher and potentially breaking out of this range high over here and clearing this equal high liquidity, and then actually moving a lot higher in towards 110k, and then hopefully we can move towards 120k. So yes guys, you can see we still have this falling wedge in play right now, which is a reversal pattern. And typically once you do have massive movements upwards and you create the structure, it's typically leading to a continuation in the same direction. However, you can see that we were about to approach this resistance in the last video and we currently rejected. So we want to see another attempt by the bulls and potentially crack this resistance, reclaiming the mid-range over here, and then actually confirming multiple candle closes above 100k, which will lead to us actually moving to our measured move, which is around 108k, punching in a new higher high, and then potentially we can actually go parabolic from there. So if you're enjoying the analysis and you agree with the information and you want to be taking advantage, I recommend you guys hit this link in the description, which is the link for Blofin. And if you click that link, you'll come to this page where you can sign up and try out Blofin. Blofin is a non-KYC exchange, and make sure to be checking in your country if this is legal. And if it is and you're allowed, I definitely recommend to actually use Blofin. They have a lot of exchange bonuses going on right now, and we can have zero maker fees, and they're one of the only exchanges that actually have fire blocks, which just means they have a third-party custodian to make sure that your funds are actually more secured. So I definitely recommend Blofin if you're interested in taking trades yourself. That longer time frame, Bitcoin is still creating this cup and handle structure, and you can see we've confirmed the move as we've broken out from our neckline over there after this massive consolidation and our bull flag after a nice move up. And just as predicted, we had a nice breakout, and you can see the ghost pattern actually over here. We had a macro higher low and everyone was calling for lower prices, and then after we started breaking out, the bears were actually forced to actually chase price a lot higher, and you can see they ended up getting flushed out later, and then they ended up buying the top over there. So this is a nice time to actually be taking advantage, as I do anticipate that we're creating some sort of macro high low over here, as you can see, and we're perfectly following this ghost pattern over here, this fractal. And once we do start moving up and then potentially we get one more shakeout, that would actually be a massive opportunity where you could be taking advantage if you're buying a dip. So I definitely think this is not the time to be getting bearish. We have a macro higher low over here, and that's suggested by this fractal. The timing is very similar. We started to actually turn over there near Q1, which is January, and right now, well, in the next upcoming week is going to be January, and I think that we're actually going to start moving up as soon as we get this massive higher low confirmed. And as you can see, Mr. Crypto highlighted here, the history is repeating. We have Trump's inauguration near the end of January, and I think this is the trade to be looking in towards. We normally get buying pressure in towards that, and then we have maybe one sell-off, and then we have massive parabolic advancement. And this is the same scenario I'm seeing, and we've already had our dip off in towards the inauguration. So I do think on that inauguration day, at least, we can finish this choppy phase and actually start moving up aggressively. And again, as I mentioned last time, looking for lower than 90k will be a gift. However, 90% of people, a lot of people are calling for this scenario. They're waiting on the sidelines, and it will be a shame if price actually left and started pumping from now. So I'll definitely be prepared for that scenario. If we manage to hold the support level and actually break this downsloping trend next week, I definitely think the probability of us never seeing 90k again actually increases. So if we get that liquidity grab, take advantage. However, I would not be betting on that massive move all the way down. I think that definitely we're likely to actually start moving up. That is still on the table. It's still a scenario to be monitoring, so just make sure not to be falling for that trap. And as you can see on my Twitter, I just recently posted about the Bitcoin Gaussian channel. You can see last year we actually tested this channel before moving up after it flipped green, and we're doing the exact thing right now. For Ethereum, we still have that massive cup and handle, and we have our target from the bottom side to the neckline, and we take it to breakout. It takes us to the 7k mark, and then we have the 10k mark of is a massive psychological level. And you can see if we use a Fibonacci projection from our top to our bear market bottom, you can see that it lines up with a 1618 massively and perfectly over there. So you can see if I do this, it lines up quite nicely, and we have a 2618 around 10k. So these are two massive levels that I'm actually watching for us to actually achieve. So 7k, our cup and handle measured move, and then 10k, our psychological level, and both their Fibonacci key levels that match up quite nicely. And as you can see, we have a golden cross from Ethereum. Every time we have this golden cross, we go massively parabolic, and then once we go parabolic, now we want to see if we can actually break above this red horizontal ray, and that will confirm when the alt season actually starts. And you can see if we do manage to chop around a little bit, that can actually confirm, if you look very closely, an inverse head and shoulder, where that's your left shoulder, you have your head, and then you have your right shoulder. And if you break the neckline, which has proven to be previous massive resistance, then definitely we can actually go parabolic and actually move in towards that 7k mark, which lines up with this parallel channel if we actually start going a lot higher. And if we can confirm closing candles above that 7k level, then 10k is definitely on the table, where we can actually go massively parabolic and ETH will go to uncharted territory. That imminent short term, you can see that ETH is in a symmetrical triangle, and we want to see which way this will be breaking out. It is likely that we can break this to the downside though, because we had a previous move down, so it's likely that we can come down. However, this can be a massive trap if we actually start to move higher and confirm that closing candles above this downsloping resistance line, then we can actually reclaim this massive level of previous resistance over here, as you can see, and that will confirm a massive deviation for Ethereum, and we can actually start to move parabolic. So you can see that I mentioned this scenario on my Twitter. This can be a massive power of 3 or accumulation, manipulation, distribution, where you have a massive fake out, liquidity grab, and then you actually reclaim the range and actually move a lot higher. And you can see by Mr. Crypto, he highlights that this next year up and coming for the Bitcoin dominance would most likely be a massive red candle. As you can see, after the halving, every year we have 3 candles and then one massive red candle, and next year is likely that we get a massive red candle over there. So you want to see that alt season timing cycles actually start to kick in, and you can see it's very likely that now is the time that we're going to be seeing that massive alt season and Ethereum being going parabolic. So I think it's very likely that we have to be paying attention for this reclaim of this previous resistance, and that will indicate when all season starts, in my opinion. So definitely be prepared for this scenario actually start to play out. So if you want to be keeping up with consistent updates and you like the video, make sure to be following me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace guys, see ya, bye bye.